Dear students, good evening. Welcome to Law Excellence IAS. Let us have the editorial analysis for today, that is 11th October 2022. The first article, Building a Resilient Mineral Supply Chains. Remember one thing, in any meet, either it is Quad, for that matter SCO, G20, what they talk about is a resilient supply chains. The COVID has disrupted the supply chains, and after that Russia-Ukraine war also has disrupted the supply chains. Yesterday we saw one article which talks about the semiconductors. If any kind of disturbance in the East Asian region will be a great damage to the semiconductor industry, and every country wants to become self-sufficient with regard to the semiconductors. The second thing, today cost of living crisis we are seeing in Europe. What is the major reason for this? Energy dependency. India is 85% dependent on its oil imports. Today, we want to become energy independent. So today's country's sovereignty is also dependent on its energy sovereignty. How we are trying to become energy independent? That is through renewables, clean energy. So India is focusing on clean energy today. For that, we need to produce solar panels, etc. We need certain minerals to produce this equipment. Lithium, cobalt, nickel, and rare earth metals, India is dependent on other countries. So what shall be the strategy of India? What are the issues which we are facing in maintaining these supply chains? Most of these minerals, these are located in geopolitically sensitive areas. If you see, rare earth metals are available in China, Afghanistan, certain regions of Mongolia. So obviously, certain regions are geopolitically very sensitive. Second is, geostrategic competitors are there. Most of the African countries, they are in one or the other tie-up with China. China was very aggressive in Africa with regard to the mineral exploration over there. Simple example is, the Congo is known for cobalt mining, and China has a strategic influence, and Chinese companies are already involved with cobalt mining in Congo. Next is, future agreements are being made. It means that today we make the agreement for production in the future. So these kind of agreements are made by the private sector corporations and various countries. So obviously this all becomes the challenges to us to become self-reliant in minerals. So what India did, it has created a new company that is called Khanij Bidesh India Limited. So this is also called KABIL in 2019. The objective is to maintain supply chains and then uninterrupted flow of these minerals which are necessary for Indian manufacturing sector. So what India shall do, the way forward for India, what all the minerals we are dependent on and how much we need, what is the assessment to the future that has to be done. So that's what I kept as a point, need assessment and preparation of a roadmap for the next 5 years with regard to the minerals required for India. Second is, Indian government has to collaborate with industry so that we can pump in investments across the regions of the world to make the future agreements as per our need. And second, in certain geopolitically sensitive areas, private sector may not be interested to invest. That's where government can go for government to government partnerships to mitigate the investment crisis and still can get the security of supply chains. And offtake agreements, that is future agreements, can be handled by this KABIL, that is Khanij Bidesh India Limited. And along with that, we have certain minerals available in India. We need to develop new technologies to use the minerals which are available in India. So let us take sodium ion batteries in the place of lithium ion batteries. And then we need to have recycling policies. Now many of the computers are being recycled. The minerals can be reused. A clear policy on urban mining. This urban mining is nothing but a recycling, that is what we call it as urban mining. So these are the steps, 6 steps which India can take up. So remember, resilient supply chains, how India can ensure the quality of supply chains, or else India can ensure uninterrupted supply of the minerals. These 6 points can be used anywhere. Need assessment and planning, and then future agreements, government to government partnership, development of new technologies, recycling. These are the points we discussed over here. And Indian prisons are stretched to their limits. If anyone asks you, what is the problem with criminal justice system in India? One thing you can clearly say is abusive police force and then court delays, along with that, the prison management in India. Tata Trust gave India Justice Report. They have explained about the poor management of prisons in India. The major problem of the prisons is overcrowding. Today, on an average in India, the occupancy rate of prisons is 130%. In the case of urban areas like Delhi, it has crossed even 180%. And added to that, most of the foreigners in prison today, these are illegal immigrants. There is one good step which has been taken up by BSF recently. The people who have got good conduct and who are illegal immigrants from Bangladesh, these are being released and given over to the Bangladeshi authorities. So, freeing the prisons is very important step India has to take to improvise its criminal justice system. Still no relief for malnourished. So here is a good case study with regard to the nutrition programs. What fails our nutrition programs? When breakfast scheme was launched in Tamil Nadu, we discussed the quality of ingredients, quality of cooking place, hygiene, all these things we defined in the case of quality. Now let us understand the general hindrances to the nutrition programs in India. Now, a healthy girl becomes a healthy mother tomorrow. So, nurturing a healthy girl is very important. Most of the nutrition programs, they end at the age of 14 years in India. The 14 years. So, if you take home ration, this also ends at the 14 years of age. And second, most of the malnourishment programs, these are with corruption. Next is, the government has an attitude of denial. So we have higher levels of malnutrition, but governments are not ready to accept to start the interventions for that. And then, malnutrition is not an isolated problem. It is an outcome of various problems interplaying together. Sanitation, health, gender, caste, all these when they are interplayed, we see this particular problem. So, we are not seeing the nutrition issues in a comprehensive manner. Finally, the nutritional programs are highly centralized. Decentralizing them with the local foods, adopting them to the local foods, nutrition level micro planning. What is meant by this nutritional level micro planning? So most of the cases micronutrient deficiency we are seeing. So in this case, this micro planning need to be improved. So in which area what micronutrition is in deficiency, and we have to work towards improving that particular thing. If you go to the Himalayan belt, these are known for iodine deficiency. Obviously iodine supplementation will work better there, and in certain areas they are chronically anemic. Iron supplements will work over there. So identify the nutrient deficiency and plan accordingly. And finally, the article is Russia's continued defiance of international law. Here, we need to understand this terminology to understand various issues in the newspaper. The first is right of self-determination. In case of India, many a times in the context of Kashmir, we talk about this, we see this dialogue on right to self-determination. When people demand for plebiscite, they talk about right to self-determination. But this word actually has come up in the context of decolonization. Second is sovereignty and non-intervention. It is the basis for the stability in the existing world order. The sovereignty says that there will be a supreme authority in a territorial boundary, and this authority makes its policies which can not be questioned, and it is also independent to decide its relations with the other countries. And non-intervention means outsiders shall not intervene in the matters of this particular country. So this sovereignty and non-intervention is one of the founding principle of the UN Charter. And third thing, rules on belligerent occupation. Let us take, if one country occupies another sovereign land, then the occupant has certain responsibilities. These have come through the Hague Convention of 1899. What are the responsibilities? The occupant has to maintain the public order and he has to govern as per the laws which are existing on the land. The occupant cannot impose the country's laws on the land. So these are the rules of Hague Convention. So what is being criticized is the principle of sovereignty and then Hague Convention are violated by Russia. Along with that, the judgments of International Court of Justice are being violated. So in this case, we can quote this as a failure to the United Nations system itself. The Russia has questioned the existing global order by not listening to the various international law or not following the various aspects of the international law. So these are the points you need to remember. Thank you very much.